Hey everyone, I'm Maggie McKenna. We're going to get started with today's Art for Art's Sake. Today we have Gretchen Koehler and her son Sil, and I think we'll have some more family members joining us. Gretchen is an absolutely incredible fiddler, and she's been fiddling all her life and teaching amazing little students and big students too for years as well. So we're so glad to have Gretchen with us to share her music. With her family and with all of us. This program, Art for Art's Sake, is a new program from the St. Lawrence County Arts Council that we've been running for a few weeks now, and we're really excited about where this is going. If you're an artist and a musician, a theater maker, anything like that, and you want to share your art form with us, just reach out to me. You can email me at director@slcartscouncil.org, message me on Facebook or whatever you'd like to do, and we will be able to set up a time for you to do one of these programs at 4 o'clock on weekdays. This program is sponsored by St. Lawrence Federal Credit Union. Thank you so much to Richard and everybody over at St. Lawrence Federal Credit Union for supporting the arts in our local community. This program is a really great way to stay connected to local artists during this crazy time. So if you're at all interested in helping to support this program in an ongoing way, reach out to me as well. We would love to have your support, businesses and individuals alike, and we would certainly allow you to be a sponsor too. So without further ado, I'm going to open up the mic here and let Gretchen and Sil take it away.
Thank you so much, Maggie. This is exciting. I've been really enjoying all the artists that have been sharing their craft on this program. So we're excited to be part of this today to share some music. Well, as Maggie said, I'm Gretchen Koehler. We're in my living room in Potsdam, New York, where I teach traditional fiddling that I grew up playing as a little girl, and I teach, actually I would show you my studio, but our house is full. My husband and I were actually getting ready to be empty nesters soon, but we have one son that's home from college. His girlfriend is home from college. She was also displaced, and then my son, who will be going to college soon, is here. So we're a pretty full house, so my studio is full of people. Want to tell everybody who you are?
I'm her son. I'm a senior at Potsdam, and my name's Sil. Forgot about that. Yeah. So,
and we're gonna play a tune. Our first tune is going to be dedicated to my students. We call ourselves the Mad Stop Fiddlers. Mad Stop is Potsdam spelled backwards. So this is a tune that we often play together. We're missing our Mad Stop Fiddlers right now so much. We play a lot. We jam right here in the living room. We play for contra dances. We play out in public, and this is one of our tunes. So here it is, Red Wing. Okay. Want to start it?
Why not?
Okay. Your scroll right, and have to turn the chair a little bit. So I asked my family to ask me questions. So that's how we're gonna run today. So Sil, first question.
What is your most requested tune?
Good question. The tune that I am asked to play the most is Ashokan Farewell, for sure. It's written by Jay Younger, one of my early mentors. And it became popular during the Civil War series that Ken Burns ran on PBS. So a lot of people know it from that. It was written, Jay and Molly run a camp, a music camp in Ashokan, New York, in the Catskill Mountains. And he wrote it for the campers at Ashokan. This tune I was supposed to play with the Orchestra of Northern New York this summer. I play as a violinist in the orchestra, but I also get to play as a guest fiddler every few years. And there's a huge, wonderful concert in July that we have both here in Potsdam at Fiddlers Hall and also in Thompson Park in Watertown. So I'm sad that the concert's not happening this summer, but really delighted that we're going to put it in 2021. So really hope to see everybody there. It's going to be a wonderful celebration. I play in the orchestra with Maggie, who started the show. So we're all missing each other. Yay! So, and Maggie's also Sill's violin teacher. So we're all so connected here in the North Country. So we're going to play a show farewell that we would have loved to have played this summer, but we'll play the following. Here it is. I'm gonna move you. I'm gonna point you this way. We're having.
I keep running into my mom.
Some scroll
Sorry about
collisions.
There we go.
All right. Another question.
All right. What is a tune all of your students want to learn?
the most requested tune I have to teach that people ask me to teach them is the Wizard's Walk. And that is another Jay Unger tune, actually. And so we'll play that one next.
All
The
right.
Wizard's Walk was one that Jay was saying that sometimes when you write a tune, you work really hard on it to get it just right. You write little sections of it, or you come back to it, or you do whatever. But it's a lot of thought goes into it. And then other tunes just they come to you. And this one was one of his tunes that just really fell into his fingers, which is interesting because I think if I had to guess a tune that was hard to write, I would have thought, oh, this might have been like a fun challenge, but no, it just came to him. And this also has a dance that goes with it, a contra dance that was written by his daughter Ruthie. And when she was about 11 or so, she was bored during a workshop that he was giving teaching this tune, and he could see her just messing around, and she was he could see her pacing out the moves to a contra dance. And so and he knew what was happening, so he's teaching the melody and he's looking over at his little daughter and he's like, she's writing a dance to this. And I've actually, the dance is a great dance. I've been one of the dancers during the dance. And that's my little thing I want to just say to all those bored kids out there, or maybe to all the parents who have bored kids, look what can happen when your kid's bored. Maybe they'll write a contra dance or something. So this is okay. So here's this great tune we're going to play, the Wizard's Walk.
I can't promise you a contra dance.
No.
Sorry.
And still often dances to this, but he's nursing a hip right now, the hip thing. So he's not gonna dance for us today, but he'll play the melody. All right, let's figure out our scroll situation.
Yeah, where do you want me to
be
sit?
closer, but I just can't bang into your scroll. Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Do you feel like you have your back towards me?
Yeah, a little bit. Let's go all the way 180.
All right.
How's this?
Except that you're not in the screen. Just come closer. Here we go. I think we can do it. Yeah. Sure.
Pretty tough.
All right.
Pretty tough.
All right. So my
That's
other
a tough one.
come and
All right.
ask. This is my son Gayton, who's home from the University of Rochester, and who's been running the camera and my tech services, which I really appreciate.
No problem.
All right. So go ahead, Katie. Yeah.
I know the answer to this question because I'm your son.
Okay,
But everyone always asks, what's the difference between a fiddle and a violin? And I think it'd be good to get it out there and settle once and for all.
Why don't you answer it?
No, thank
Yeah,
you.
you
I don't want to get it wrong. I'd be embarrassed.
The instrument's the same. I don't play a different instrument when I'm in the orchestra of Northern New York that I play when I'm, say, playing at traditional arts and upstate here. I play this fiddle. So the instrument's the same. Technically, fiddlers have different preferences than violinists. So it depends on really the difference is the music. So that's the answer that people often get. The difference is the music that you play on one instrument that you play on the violin. But fiddlers have different preferences, different things that they want to put at the top of their list. So if you're playing for a dance, the most important thing at the top of your list is tempo, because you have to play at the dance at a certain speed. And so if your intonation is a little out, or if other things kind of aren't as strong, that's okay, because the number one is the tempo. So there's that kind of way to look at it. What's the function of the music? But the thing that I really like to say is, when you're talking about fiddle music in itself, is that to fiddle is a verb, and it's an action that you have. You have this interaction with the music. Okay. So it's not a matter of just playing tunes that fiddlers play. So you can be a clarinet player and play a fiddle tune. That doesn't make you a fiddler. It makes you playing a tune that's played in the fiddle repertoire. But when you fiddle, it's how you're ornamenting and interacting with the tune. So that's something that I find more interesting. And that's what I teach people, how to interact with the tunes, how to really fiddle fiddle around with a tune. And there's lots of different fiddle styles. So there's all these different things you can add to those tunes that way.
So, like, for example, if you go to one of your concerts with the Orchestra of Northern New York, do you call that a fiddle or a violin?
I call it a violin. But violinists do call their violins fiddles very nicely. And I do have to say, actually, one difference is funny. Fiddlers tend to let the rosin dust collect on the top of their fiddle to show how much they've played. And violinists do not do that at all. We're all about how shiny our instrument is. So I do get embarrassed once in a while if I'm in the fiddle situation and I have a super shiny, clean violin. I'm like, I'm so embarrassed at how clean it is. And I have gone to orchestra where I've done a lot of fiddling and I didn't clean up my instrument. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so dirty. So that's just a funny little thing that happens to me when I go back and forth. But yeah, that's that. Yeah.
So one more question is, I know you have a bunch of different little techniques or little riffs that you use to kind of ornament your fiddle tunes. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite one? What's the one that you just go to whenever you just want something good to add?
I like that question. That's so interesting. With each style that I play, I'm from New England originally, so I have a collection of the Quebec fiddle style, the Irish fiddle style, the New England contradance style. We've got some Appalachian music mixed in there, and a lot of Canadian, Eastern Canada style is kind of my core styles. Even though I do some Swedish fiddling too, and there's other styles I like a lot, bluegrass as well. And each one of those, there's different kinds of ornamentation. So I like the Irish ornamentation where you're doing a lot of finger flicks. I like there's a lot of right hand ornamentation that we do too. But I don't have a favorite. I think each style is cool. But I did think about your question because it's a cool one. And one of the things that I like to do is I'm going to use a technique in this next one where the fiddle is not tuned E-A-D-G as a normal. It's called cross tuning. They do this in classical music once in a while, but in fiddle styles and fiddling, and especially in the Southern tradition, we tend to retune our fiddle a lot. So this next fiddle I'm going to grab just to save time is E-A-E-A. And then the technique that I love to use.
It's E-A-E-A as opposed to E-A-D-G.
Yeah, E-A-D-G or G-D-A, whatever. Yeah, so the bottom two strings are going to be in a different tuning on this next fiddle I grab. But the technique that's going to be used in this tune is actually something I'm not even going to do. I'm going to invite Joel to join me. And he's going to use the fiddle sticks. So this next technique is something, this is my husband Joel, where you use knitting needles or any kind of a stick. You can use shish kebab skewers, you can use chopsticks, although those are a little bit short, and turn the fiddle into a drum. And that style I've done. Louis Sear from Waddington, New York, just down the road from us. Louis has since passed away, but Louis used to be a fiddler that I knew, and he would come at me. He was originally from Maine. He was Acadian, and he would come to me, and he'd always do the fiddlesticks on my fiddle when I was cross-tuned. And so I think of Louis all the time whenever I play this style. But anyway, the sticks turn the instrument into a percussion instrument. The origin of it isn't exactly clear. Some people think the enslaved people in the United States used a violin and turned it into a drum that they would have played in Africa. Some people think that it sometimes it's called playing the straws. So that I'm not sure what the origin of that is. If anybody knows more about it, I'd love to know. But anyway, we call it fiddlesticks. It's awfully fun, but I'm going to use that on the second tune. So this is the first tune is a southern tune called Booth Shot Lincoln. And then I'm going to go into Le Violon accordé comme un vielle, which is the violin tuned like a hurdy-gurdy. So that's another instrument. It's important to end together. Cool.
Go, Joel.
Yay.
Gretchen, you do have a quick question from the team over here on Facebook.
Oh,
Shirley would like to know, or Shirley would like you to tell her the story of your fiddle, about your fiddle, the background story.
Girly. I wonder if that's my mother.
I bet it is.
Well, I got this fiddle when it's my first full-size fiddle. Fiddles come in different sizes, like shoes. And so as you grow, you need to get a different size fiddle. So this violin I got when I was ready for a full-size adult instrument, and it was in an attic for a lot of years before the violin luthier got a hold of it and kind of put it back together, which is a story I've heard a lot. A few of my students have fiddles that are in the attic. And what's interesting about instruments is they go to sleep if they're not being played. Isn't that just, it's sad and romantic all at the same time. So this instrument had gone to sleep. My favorite is that that Stradivarius cello that they nicknamed Sleeping Beauty. I just said, oh, this makes me tear, like, oh, Sleeping Beauty. And so what happens is it goes to sleep. It has its voice, but it sort of actually probably sounds exactly like I sound coming through Facebook, a little bit garbled. So it's got a little garble to it. And but as you play it, the vibrations kind of bring it back to life and it opens up. So this fiddle, I don't know, it's Italian. It was when I had it brought it in to be appraised, they think it's about 300 years old. And so I think about all of the other people who have played this instrument. It's kind of mind numbing to think of all the other fiddlers or violinists who have enjoyed playing this same beautiful instrument that I have. So that's the story of my fiddle.
Love it.
So yeah, cool. Thanks for the question, Mom. And come on over and ask your question.
I think my fiddle had the same kind of situation where it had to be woken up. It's really crazy. It's really awesome though. I love it.
It's so nice. And I was talking to Jennifer Kessler too, who had another instrument that was in the family that was woken up. And it was just, I love that the traditional arts in upstate New York had a beautiful series on instrumental stories, which was just that. It was all about an instrument that may have been in your family or that you acquired or made and the story behind it. I actually have a link to that. I did, because I had a few instruments in that exhibit on my blog. So if you go to GretchenKoehlerMusic.com and look for instrumental stories, you can see a link to the beautiful instrument pictures and a story of my husband's great grandfather played the violin, and we have the Jean Leroux violin had a similar story where it needed to be put back together, and it was beautiful that there's now a family member playing that. I'm going to invite Ann over to sit with me. Ann is Gaten's girlfriend, and she is staying with us, and we're so delighted to have her. She's also running the camera. And your question?
Yes, so you mentioned before there's a lot of style. There's a New England style, the Quebec style. So what is your favorite one?
What is my favorite style? That is such a hard question. It's like my favorite person. Yes, it is. I've been having so much fun having a girl in the house. Yeah, so it's a hard question. I do get asked that quite a bit, like, what's your favorite style? Because I have so many that I love to play. And I can't even answer it. But what I do say is that each style for me makes me think of a different person that I play it with. So if I think of Don Woodcock, I'm thinking of the old time style that I play with him. I do a lot of beautiful stuff with Barb Heller, and we play old time as well as some originals that she plays. I play Irish music with a jazz musician, Daniel Kelly, who plays piano. I love playing with all my students, so that's another style too. So that's my answer to that is that I don't have a favorite, but I definitely associate people with the style. So today I'm going to play my favorite style, which will be Irish, and Joel's going to join me on the drum. So here, thank you for the question. So Joel's going to join me. We're going to play an Irish piece. This is the style of the day, and he's going to play the bowron. And so it's an Irish drum with one head, and played with the tipper, and we're going to play a jig. We didn't practice this one, so we'll see how it goes. All right, so I'll play a jig. I think that'll be good. This is called the Orphan. You want to tell the story of the little tale that goes with this?
Well, there's a story. There was one drum in all of Ireland. It was a two-headed drum, maybe like a snare drum, and there were brothers that were fighting about it because they each wanted the drum.
We've never had that situation in our house where there was one of something and two brothers wanted the same thing, right? Never. I can't
Only
even relate.
food. Every kind of food. So they went to the wise person on the mountain, and the wise person on the mountain split it in half and gave each half to each brother, and that is why the bowron only has one head.
There you go. True story.
Yeah.
And some people say bowron, like Ron, take a bow, and some people say bowron. There's that's like kind of the American version of the way to say it. It's got a lot of BODHRAN, if I just said that right, but that's, I think, the spelling. So if you see that instrument listed, that is what it is. All right, let's try it. Still a little jig. 3, 4.
One more.
Thank you, Joel. Nice to play with you. Cool. Here's another question that comes up often.
Do you write fiddle tunes?
No, right, fiddle tunes. People are always asking me, did you write that? Did you write that? And I am much more of an arranger. I like to take a fiddle tune that's already written and put chords to it, put fiddle harmonies. I did an album called The Wax Wing that has 52 fiddle parts on it. So that's including the melodies and all the harmonies that go with it. But what I think this is interesting. When somewhere somebody started counting their fiddle tunes, I think it was Jean Perignon, and it's estimated that fiddlers know between 3,000 to 10,000 tunes. And that sounds like that. Is that crazy? If you said to me, "Wow, do you know 3,000 to 10,000 tunes?" And I would say, "Sure, I could know that many tunes because we learn them all by ear and we learn them very, very quickly." And so part of the way I feel about writing tunes is that there's so many tunes out there. There's hundreds of years worth of repertoire that I haven't felt the need to write a lot of tunes. However, it's a wonderful thing to add to the tradition. And so, yes, I do write tunes. And I write tunes usually for an occasion, something that strikes me, whether it's a moment that I want to remember or whether it's or for a person or an activity or something. So I do write music. So I will play a tune right now that I wrote. All right, so this is a tune called The Wax Wing. This is the title cut from my album, and it's an air. So all the tunes that we've played so far have been dance music, jigs and reels and waltzes, but this tune is actually not meant to have a steady tempo. It's not meant to be danced to. Of course, if you're at home and you'd like to dance, you're more than welcome to. But the idea is that it's emotional and it can ebb and flow just like your feelings. So this is called The Wax Wing. This is one that I wrote in 2015. And often you play that by yourself because it's hard to follow someone where they're playing that. Although when I play with Daniel Kelly, he does such a nice job following where I go with that. And I think we'll do one more tune. I'm going to invite my family back. Thank you so much again for having us, Maggie. This was really great to get a chance to play with these guys and play for all of you.
Can I ask you a really quick question about the wax swing?
Sure.
First of all, well, actually, I have a couple questions. First of all, do you have a written out arrangement, or how would one go about learning that tune? Like, say, a fellow violinist who loves it.
I did. I can tell you exactly. I try to do a tune a month on YouTube to share a tune. I have, I think, 6. So I just feel like it's a tune a month, maybe not every month, and maybe I'll do 6 more and it will be a full year. But the wax swing was one of my featured tunes. And so I have the sheet music as well as I break down the phrase. So even if you're a sheet music reader, like you usually learn tunes for any violinists that want to learn it, that don't play as much by ear, take the opportunity to take this video. So you can go to my blog, again, GretchenKoehlermusic.com, go to the blog. I've got lots of links there for teaching, and I have got one, the tune of, I think I call it tune of the month, but you can look up wax swing. The sheet music is there. But what I suggest to anybody is this: take the opportunity, especially maybe now during this quarantine, and let me play you the phrase, stop the tape and play the phrase back, and you will get better at that if that's something you need to work on. And that's how you can do it. And then I talk a little bit on that video about different techniques, like we stop and start the vibrato quite a bit in that kind of a tune. And there's another technique about, you just let the finger drop slowly onto the string to get a certain sound that you may or may not have run into in whatever repertoire you end up playing. So there's that.
My other question is, the wax swing, I know pretty well, is the title of your album. Right?
It is, yeah.
And
yeah, it's the title track. Yeah.
So where can people go to get your album?
Thank you for asking. They can go.
You should go get it because it's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, right now, I wish I knew the exact answer, because I think that because traditional arts in upstate New York is like my go-to place. Anything you want from me, they definitely have lots of copies of my things there. Right now, I'm not sure if you can get it exactly through them. And then CD Baby is another place that I sell things, and I just got an email from them that things are not moving as like they used to in the past. But you can certainly get it from me, or on iTunes. If you want to download it, I believe that we put it so you can download it on iTunes. But you can always write to me, and then I can figure out how to get it to you. But yeah, downloading it right now during this period of time from iTunes, I think is it on iTunes?
I think so.
Yeah. I know there's one place you can download it, but actually go to my website. I keep mentioning that because I do have links. And so hopefully one of them will work, and you can certainly contact me. Yeah, that was a very nice album to put together. I really enjoyed that one. So
you can download it from CD Baby perhaps too.
Maybe CD Baby downloads it. Yeah, things are a little unusual right now, so I don't know.
Well, I definitely recommend everybody go check that out because it's really an incredible album.
I have a lot of videos that I put out on Facebook. So Gretchen Koehler Music on Facebook is a great place. I try to put out music there that people can listen to as well. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. We're going to end with not a tune that you play by yourself, but one that you do with triple fiddle. This is an old time waltz called the Westphalia Waltz. It is almost always done with lots and lots of fiddle harmonies. So one of the things we're definitely missing right now is playing music with other people. I know Sil has volunteered to host a jam session with me.
Oh, yeah.
You have? Yes, you did. So look for that coming up next week or so. We're going to put the chords out there for strummers that want to join us, and we'll play some tunes that people can play along with. I know Barb Heller on NCPR the cat is joining us. And Barb Heller is also doing a play along jam on this Thursday on String Fever on NCPR. So any musicians out there that are really wanting to play with other people, the Atkinson's family is doing that. All right, let's get your fiddle by Griffey. I did write a waltz for this kitty.
Stay on here.
All right. That's a first. I have no idea if he'll stay. All right, let's do Westphalia Waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Arts Council. We appreciate it so much. And Griffin.
Thank you so much, everybody. This has been Art for Art's Sake. Thank you so much to the whole Koehler family for being a part of this. We really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you so much. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Meg.